American Horror Story boss teases Scream Queens revival. American Horror Story showrunner Ryan Murphy has teased he's working on a revival of the canceled Fox series Scream Queens. The horror comedy series, which is fronted by Emma Roberts and has also featured stars such as Jamie Lee Curtis, Ariana Grande, Billy Lord, and Nick Jonas, was dropped by the network in 2017 after just 2 seasons. However, the show has since gained a huge cult following with fans calling for its revival. Well, it seems they'll be getting their wish, as Murphy recently teased in an Instagram exchange that work is underway on a third season of the show. When one fan commented on one of his posts, Scream Queen Season 3, 2020, Murphy replied, "Working on that." Back in February, Murphy teased the idea of a third season after revealing he discussed the idea with stars Emma Roberts, Billy Lord, and Lea Michele. So many people recently have been asking me about rebooting or continuing CREMQENS IP, taken too soon. Ryan wrote on Instagram, "Emma, Billy, Lee, and I have mused on it, but question, should it be a 6-episode limited? A catch-up movie? Who should I bring back? Would love your thoughts." So many questions. At the time, Fox claimed there were no plans to revive the show, but the network's CEO, Charlie Collier, insisted that we take Ryan Murphy seriously when he wants to build something. Unless Murphy is thinking of bringing the show to another network, it seems those plans may have changed. Digital Spy now has a newsletter. Sign up to get it sent straight to your inbox. Looking for more TV recommendations and discussion? Head over to our Facebook group to see new picks every day and chat with other readers about what they're watching right now. Animal Crossing New Horizons is finally announced on Nintendo Switch. How to watch Amazon Prime on your TV, smartphone, and tablet, and enjoy Good Omens online. Nintendo to release 2 new Switch consoles this year. Living here is like going back 50 years. You can even go out for walks after dark. All summer, we will be taking the pulse of our most famous traditional seaside towns, examining the efforts being made to regenerate them, and opining on whether they are still worth visiting. This week, Chris Moss explores Llandudno. Llandudno is North Wales's Grand Dame's seaside town, a much-loved stop on the journey from the Bucket and Spade and Static resorts to the east and the castles and mountains and upmarket destinations of the west. If decline has set in at Rail and Colwyn Bay, not to mention most English coastal towns, Llandudno is regarded as a place that bucks the trend. Is it true? On the evidence of my 2-day sojourn, yes it is. I visited on a gloriously sunny day in early May, and the town and beach looked spectacular. There was a nip in the air in the morning, which is as traditional an element of the English seaside as sticks of rock and cockles, but by the afternoon it was positively balmy. Llandudno feels old, but not in a bad way. The seafront evokes the Victorian era. A 2-mile stretch of handsome terraced properties, punctuated by grand 4-star hotels like the Sturges, still going strong, and the Washington, now a restaurant, looks all the better for the horseshoe-shaped bay. The prom is a glory with palm trees and a wide area for strolling, benches, and artworks. Many seaside resorts depend perhaps too much on their seafront. Llandudno has more than that. At either end are hills, the Little Orme and the more substantial Great Orme. You catch sight of these as you stroll around town, as well as glimpses of the mountains of Snowdonia. On a hot day, it can look positively Mediterranean. One block in on Mostyn Street is a proper shopping thoroughfare with few empty spaces. There are plenty of banks and free ATMs, and cash is accepted everywhere. For self-caterers, the Chalet holiday is big business hereabouts. There are supermarkets and a big Marks and Spencer on a large retail park. Some shops look a bit hopeful, such as Johnny Throws Axe Throwing, and there are the usual tired chains, but the overall vibe is livelier than in many cities. Many shop fronts have awnings, some with ornate filigree and curved windows. There are lots of listed buildings, chapels, churches, a museum and gallery, and pubs not owned by Weatherspoons. The average age might be around 70, but I see young parents and 20-somethings too. The cats, which are many, are busy. Perhitero does a great flat white and Portuguese custard tarts. You don't need hipsters to satisfy hipster tastes. The long pier is a bit tucked away to stand out, but it's not sullied by endless amusement arcades. There are just a few slot machines and a pub with lots of outdoor seating at the end. They were playing the Kinks when I arrived, which seemed to fit the era being evoked. Llandudno evolved from a mining town. Next door, Conwy is a walled market town with a UNESCO-listed castle. The two resorts function together to provide quite a range of services and amenities for holidaying families, golfers, sailors, coast walkers, and city escapists. This year, there's a new Alice in Wonderland-inspired game experience called Finding Alice, a new 15-stop heritage trail, and the Finmay Park Gallery, relocated to Trinity Square from the inland town of Lamrost. Walking along the prom is lovely at Llandudno. When I stepped out for a pre-dinner amble, Seafret had turned the pier end of the town murky and magical. But as I walked towards the Little Orme, the fog cleared and all was brilliantly clear again. The pandemic hammered Llandudno. Many hotels and other businesses went under. Some places, the Grand Hotel above the pier being the most obvious, need more than a lick of paint. A few more independent shops would add a lot to the town. Currently, it feels owned by chains. There's also the market for more daring, locally focused restaurants. The town seems to be preparing for this summer season with gusto. The little shelters with benches along the beach are all being spruced up. The Craig Dawn paddling pool on the front, which needed resurfacing because it was dangerously slippery, is reopening soon and is still free. The shops on the pier are naff. One sells crystals. Another sells only quirky name signs. These are arguably typical of the English seaside, but it's a pity you can find such tat, yet the seafood kiosk was closed on a late spring day. The entertainment offering is patchy in North Wales resorts, with too many tribute bands and not enough quality arts. But the Banff Mountain Film Festival tour came to venue Cymru in April. The phone signal is dire all round town. That needs sorting, especially as QR codes are used to share information on historical sites. The Great Orme is a limestone headland that rises straight out of the sea to a height of 679 feet. The walk is lovely, but you also ride up on the Great Orme Tramway, ferrying passengers to the summit since 1898. There's also a mile-long cable car to the summit and a minibus option. On a clear day, you can see the lakes and Isle of Man, and there's a visitor center, nature reserve with Kashmir goats, pitch and putt golf, and play area. In 2021, Welsh whiskey maker Penderyn opened its new Llandudno distillery. Tours of the mill, mash tun, and innovative single copper pot still conclude with a wee dram or Dyfern Bach in the tasting bar afterwards. There are masterclasses for aficionados. Visit Wales's dedicated Llandudno and Colwyn Bay pages are a great source of activities for flying visits or longer stays, as well as lots of fish and chip outlets. The one that looks like a lighthouse on the pier is good. Llandudno has the usual British provincial spread of pizzas, curries, tea shops, with Welsh cakes and bara brith, and hotel restaurants. The Terrace restaurant at the Storage Hotel has Welsh lamb, fish, seafood, and cheeses. Delans at the Washington serves locally caught sea bass, Welsh beef, and lots of options for kids. Look out for Conwy mussels, which come from deep down in the seabed of the Conwy estuary. I didn't find any liverbread, Welsh caviar, which seems a pity, though it's more properly associated with the South Coast and the Gower Peninsula. A short drive inland, Bodnant Welsh Food has a good locally focused shop and restaurant. The Carlton Pub looks like a great free house, but it's owned by mega chain Stonegate and hosts bingo on Thursday evenings and karaoke on Fridays. I know bingo belongs in seaside resorts, but surely not in a grade I-listed boozer. It's a beautiful place to live, says Helen Parks, 37, who moved here 2 years ago from London with her husband and 3 children. We sometimes say it's like a holiday that never ends. It's lacking in terms of retail and culture. Conway next door has had more spent on it and has more independent shops, but living here you do realize life's not all about spending. Liz Westwood, 21, works at the Land at No Pier coffee shop. I came here from the Midlands to live with my nan and, in a way, start again, she says. You've always got the beach and the mountains. I get on with people of all ages, but there are young people here if you want to find them. The only negative is the 20 miles per hour rule where it's not needed. It causes jams, increases emissions, and is really unpopular. Living here is like going back 50 years, says Ray, 80, who retired to Llandudno almost 3 decades ago. The older ladies still dress nicely. You can go out for walks after dark. There are no rough gangs going around swearing and fighting. Yvonne Hurst, 56, from Manchester, has a caravan outside Llandudno. I think it's different to other seaside resorts because of the natural beauty, and so they keep it looking naturally beautiful. There's no litter, they keep it clean. I don't like the Welsh government, but they're doing something right here. 4 friends from South Yorkshire, Janet Booth, Sharon Lindley, Christine Tarmy, and Pamela Lidster, combined age over 300, were unanimous in their praise for Llandudno. The prom is beautiful, said Janet. We just took the open-top minibus up the Great Orme and it was lovely. You've no Lager monsters running about like in Blackpool. They probably need to cater more for the younger generations. There's nought here for them. My favorite place in North Wales, maybe anywhere, says Carolyn Haycock, 59, from Stellens. We come here almost every month and it's busy and nice even in winter. There's plenty of people year-round. I suffer with dementia and come here for a bit of peace, says Robert Berry, 66, from Collyhurst, Manchester. We've been coming for 30 years. Llandudno is steady. It's the same every year. Nothing changes. Getting there? Llandudno has direct trains to Manchester and Chester. Nearby Llandudno Junction has direct services to Cardiff, Birmingham International, and London Euston. The line skirts the coast as it leaves behind the built-up, industrialized borders, serving up beach views. The A55 is a decent quasi-motorway, and it boasts lovely views once you've passed Rel. The A470, which winds through the heart of the country, has been called Wales's Route 66. It's the ideal way-in for slow travelers. Armed gang who slaughtered DPD worker in public execution were in the UK illegally. Members of an armed gang who slaughtered a DPD worker in a chilling public execution were in the UK illegally, it can be revealed. Arman Singh was working when he was brutally murdered by masked thugs in a violent attack that lasted seconds. The murderers chopped at his head and hacked off part of his ear with a terrifying arsenal of weapons that included an axe. The 23-year-old was so badly wounded that his brain was left exposed by the time the thugs fled the scene in Shrewsbury, Shropshire, reports Birmingham Live. Reed Moe, the iconic South Manchester shop that inspired Noel and Liam Gallagher. A total of 5 men were jailed for more than 120 years in connection with his killing earlier this year. The killers had come to live in the UK after arriving from Punjab, India, in the years before the killing. They settled in the Black Country and were working in the region at the time of Arman's death. But it has since emerged that they were in the UK illegally as their visas had expired. West Mercia police confirmed that 4 of the defendants are believed to be overstayers. This includes Arshdeep Singh, Jagdeep Singh, Shivdeep Singh, and Manjot Singh, who were all jailed for life with minimum terms of 28 years. The convicts could now be deported and told to serve their life sentences in India. A 5th killer, Sukhmandeep Singh, was in the UK legally. He was jailed for 10 years after being acquitted of murder but unanimously convicted of manslaughter. Prosecutors branded him the inside man after he tipped off his accomplices, handing over information on Arman's whereabouts. A trial at Stafford Crown Court heard how the killers drove from the Black Country to Shrewsbury, where they lay in wait for their victim. Orman's colleague had pulled up in Berwick Avenue, leaving the van to deliver a parcel in the street. He spotted the masked thugs rushing towards the van and called out to his colleague to run, but they caught up with Orman, hacking him to death in the street and leaving him bleeding out. Weapons wielded included an axe, golf club, wooden stave, metal bar, hockey stick, shovel, knife, and cricket bat. Judge Christina Montgomery previously branded the murder a very public execution. Jurors returned these verdicts. Arshdeep Singh, 24, of Shaw Road, Tipton, was unanimously convicted of murder. Jagdeep Singh, 23, of Goodrich Mews, Dudley, was unanimously convicted of murder. Shivdeep Singh, 27, of Greenfield Road, Smethwick, was unanimously convicted of murder. Manjot Singh, 24, of Greenfield Road, Smethwick, was unanimously convicted of murder. Sukhmandeep Singh, 25, Greenfield Road, Smethwick, was acquitted of murder but unanimously convicted of manslaughter. The Home Secretary has a duty to make a deportation order for non-British or Irish citizens convicted of an offense in the UK and sentenced to at least 12 months imprisonment, unless certain exceptions apply. The Home Office has been contacted for comment. Shocking footage shows football fans fighting on streets of Harrow before FA Cup final clash. Shocking footage shows football fans fighting on streets of Harrow before FA Cup final clash. Chants of United can be heard in the background during the scrap. A Met Police spokesperson confirmed police were investigating, saying, "Police were called at approximately 11:50 hours on Saturday, 25 May to reports of a fight in Station Road, Harrow. Officers attended, but those involved had left the scene. No reports of any serious injuries. Enquiries into the circumstances are ongoing." Manchester United won the highly anticipated game at Wembley with a 2-1 victory over rivals Manchester City on Saturday. Inappropriate signs for new fast food restaurant in Colchester thrown out. SIGNs for a new fast food restaurant in Colchester city centre have been refused after a charity branded them inappropriate. Colchester Council has thrown out an application made by for restaurants and sign specialists sold for its new Wendy's restaurant in High Street. The group wants to install a number of illuminated and non-illuminated signs depicting the brand's iconic image of the pigtailed, smiling girl. Colchester Civic Society objected to the plans, saying the bold signs would be inappropriate for the city center. In a letter, the society stated, "The Colchester Civic Society object to the signage design and color choice in the conservation area of our historic High Street. It is our contention that these proposals are singularly inappropriate, and we would contend that the applicant should reconsider the concept for this site. We might suggest a discussion with the planning department regarding acceptable color choices in particular and alternative design concepts for this area." Bosses at Colchester Council have now refused the plans. They said, "The proposed signage would be a visually incongruous feature and would be harmful to public visual amenity, including the setting of the conservation and surrounding designated heritage assets." The American fast food chain confirmed it was taking over the former Next Door in High Street earlier this year, but an opening date is yet to be announced. Wendy's already has another restaurant at the Northern Gateway Leisure Park and in Chelmsford High Street, while another is planned in Southend.